yeah. It is Lemon Live at 5, the Don Lemon Show. Tired of winning? Are you guys tired of winning right now? Welcome to the Don Lemon Show, everybody. So glad that you're here. So MAGA madness, sheer MAGA madness has captured this country. Let me just tell you where we are right now, what we're going to discuss today, okay? Because it is a lot. Stock market is cratering right now. Cratering. The Dow Jones has lost another 500 points. S&P free falling, officially entering correction territory. The judge, a California judge, has ordered the Trump administration to reinstate thousands of federal workers. But will the administration do it, or are they just going to keep defying federal judges? Trump is once again threatening to take over Canada, and he is issuing even more tariff threats. Meanwhile, we're also on the brink of a government shutdown. And the Democrats really have no idea what to do. Mahmoud Khalil, still in federal custody. As a result, free Khalil protests are popping up all over the country. One even right inside of Trump Tower here in New York City today. All of those, we are told reportedly, 98 folks just exercising their free speech rights have been arrested. This is where we are, my friends. MAGA madness in Trump's autocratic America. Dictatorship, recession. This is where we are. Okay, so let me show you where the stock market is right now. This is, and I'm just going to go through it. So there we go. Dow Jones Industrial Average down, what, 400 points? Where is it right now? It's not the major average. Dow Jones Industrial Average. Oh, it says, what is it, 77.7. Did it do a little correction? I can't read this, Andy.
It finished down 537 points today.
Thank you very much. It finished down 537 points. Are we having fun yet? Are you guys having fun yet? Are you so glad? How great are we? 537 points we are down. It has been good. Okay, so if we were down 537 points. One would say, okay, it's just one day, but it's not just one day. It's been day after day after day. It's just going to be a little bit of help. S&P 500 slips into correction territory as stagflation fears and Trump tariff threats shake markets. The index now fallen 10% since reaching an all-time high in February. Are you having fun yet? Are you tired of winning yet? How excited are you for what is going on in America? Right? Do you feel like this little doggy? Do you feel like this little doggy? Play it.
We are going on a road trip. Woo! Yes, absolutely.
One more time. Is that how you feel?
Quincy, we are going on a road trip. Woo! Yes, absolutely.
I'm just that sarcasm. Because that is what in Donald Trump's mind, that's how he thinks Americans feel. In his MAGA brain, he thinks Americans feel that way. We are definitely going on a road trip. Woo! Woo! One of madness. We are on a trip. He is a trip. What's happening is a trip. So we'll continue to watch. Let me just read a little bit of this before I get to what is happening with the tariffs in Canada. The economic chaos unleashed by President Trump has pushed the S&P 500 into correction. The broad index of U.S. stocks fell 1.4% on Thursday, making its decline since its February all-time high greater than 10%. Money, 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 money. Oh, no. No money. Where's my wallet? Did someone steal my wallet? Oh, yes. The MAGA government stole my wallet. 1.4% Thursday since its all-time high, 10% now, down 10%, and has now fully erased all of its post-November election gains, and it is back to levels last seen in September. How great are we right now? Among the companies seeing the biggest declines over the past month are you guys ready? Who knows? Somebody in the comments tell me. Among the companies seeing the biggest declines over the past month are anyone? You guys should know, because I think the folks on TikTok are really, yes, TikTok knows. Nope, not that. Nope. Wrong on some of it, right on some. Thank you for the galaxy, by the way. There was a big infomercial over at the Tesla showroom and over at the White House yesterday. Tesla down 27%. Walmart down 18%. Amazon down 17%. Corrections have historically occurred about every 10 to 15 months on average, but it had been an unusually long time since U.S. stocks had experienced one nearly 3 years. 3 years. It is not yet clear how serious this correction will be. Only about 1 in 4 correction events have ended up turning into bear markets. When a 20% decline from recent highs occurs, bear markets historically take much longer to recover, since they often accompany broader downturns in the U.S. economy. Now, if we start going into bear territory, we are up Schitt's Creek. We are up Bear Creek without a paddle. We probably are there right now. So, woo! You having fun yet? MAGA, are you having fun yet? So Donald Trump is saying, even with all that, because the reason that we're going through this is because of what is happening with Canada, the tariffs that he has placed basically on Canada, because Canada is fighting back, right? Canada is at the center of it right now. Yeah, are we winning? No, this is winning. In case you guys haven't figured it out, this is what winning is. If you have a sort of a backward sort of MAGA mind, this is what winning is. So what is happening? It's because of these tariffs that Donald Trump implements, and he takes them back, and then he relents, and then he gets Howard Lutnick to call the premier of Ontario, and then says, okay, we'll come, and then back down, and then Donald Trump spins it as if the MAGA folks, it was the other folks who backed down. Those people are just saying, they're like, okay, you want me to come to the White House? If you're saying that we're going to try to work this out, then all right, I'll bet. Those are what you call logical, rational, sane human beings. Adults. And so Donald Trump is in the White House today. When asked about the tariffs and if there was any chance that he would back down or negotiate, this is what he said.
Why should we subsidize another country for $200 billion? Of course, it's $200 billion a year. And again, we don't need their lumber. We don't need their energy. We have more than they do. We don't need anything. We don't need their cars. I'd much rather make the cars here. And there's not a thing that we need. Now, there'll be a little disruption, but it won't be very long.
Yeah.
But they need us. We really don't need them. And we have to do this. I'm sorry. We have to do this. Yes.
Yeah, no, the one when I won it was no chance. No chance that I will walk back the April tariffs. That's the one that I wanted. Let's play it.
Chances that you will ban on the tariffs on the aluminum and the ones that are planned for April 2nd?
No.
You are not going to change your mind?
No, I'm not. Look, we've been ripped off for years, and we're not going to be ripped off anymore. No, I'm not going to bend at all. Aluminum or steel or cars. We're not going to bend. We've been ripped off as a country for many, many years. We've been subjected to costs that we shouldn't be subjected to. In the case of Canada, we're spending $200 billion a year to subsidize Canada. I love Canada. I love the people of Canada. I have many friends in Canada. The great one, Wayne Gretzky, the great. Hey, how good is Wayne Gretzky? He's the great one. But we have, I know many people from Canada that are good friends of mine. But, the United States can't subsidize a country for $200 billion a year. We don't need.
Speaking of Canada, let's see who remembers that. Anybody remember SCTV? Okay, yeah. Cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. I don't think he understands trade, doesn't understand tariffs, but hey, let's see. Now, the premier of Ontario said, okay, fine. You invite me to the White House. I will come. We will try to negotiate. We'll see whatever. Yeah, Wayne's World as well. But yeah, it's originally from SCTV. Invites him to the White House and says, okay, let's do it. In the meantime, the premier of Ontario was over on the Fox News saying what I just said. We are all adults. This is bad for the American people. We could be negotiating this. We don't have to do it in public. And you don't have to try to strong arm people because it just causes drama and unnecessary tension and unnecessary uncertainty, which shows up in the stock markets and in the economy. And guess what? If you were doing this behind closed doors and you were saying we are negotiating to try to come up with an agreement with Canada and our neighbors to make America whatever you want to call it again, and doing it behind closed doors, we would not be here. But Donald Trump loves a show. He loves a show. He loves the attention. He loves the ratings. He every single day, he complains about the media. J.D. Vance sat in the Oval Office saying, we should not be negotiating this in front of the media. But then why did you invite him in? Every day, how many times I'm sick of seeing Donald Trump. Like, why aren't you working? Why are you inviting reporters into the Oval Office every single day just to be snarky because you like being on TV? And people aren't thinking you're working more just because you're on the TV. They're wondering, why aren't you at work and why are you in front of the camera? You have a press secretary. Look, I think you should show up in front of the media as often as possible. I do, meaning to actually answer questions for things that are, that are relevant to the American people, that not of your own causing. You caused this. And if you didn't do it the way you did, there would be no need for that. You can say, look, our economy is humming. If you look at what happened with the economic reports that came out today, all of those things that Joe Biden put in place, they're going in the right direction. And the things that Donald Trump put into place, crashing the economy. Meantime, here's a premier over on the Fox News acting like an adult. Here he is.
On that note, let's bring in the Premier of Ontario, the Honorable Doug Ford, to talk more about this.
Thanks for having me on, John.
Good to have you here. So the president says that he's not going to bend when it comes to trade relations with Canada. Listen to how he put it in the Oval Office.
We've been ripped off for years, and we're not going to be ripped off anymore. No, I'm not going to bend at all. Aluminum or steel or cars. We're not going to bend. We've been ripped off as a country for many, many years. We don't need their cars. We don't need their energy. We don't need their lumber. We don't need anything that they give.
So the president says he doesn't need much.
So listen. So that sounds like, I don't need you. I just have myself. I don't need you. I don't need no man. That's what that sounds like. I don't need nobody. I just need me. We don't need nothing from you. Get out. I'm sick of you. So I did that so that you can look at the contrast between the two people. And the guy is sitting there like, okay, you invited me here. All right. What do you want to talk about? And Donald Trump's like, no, I'm not doing it. I don't need you. We don't need anybody. We're alone in the world. We're isolationists. We're just going to do it all by ourselves. Steel and lumber, we don't need it. Yeah, we do. We need it. We need it. Now, let's see the contrast here of how an adult actually handles these sorts of things. Watch.
From Canada, you're about to go into a meeting with the Commerce Secretary, Howard Lutnick. Based on the president's position, how do you think that meeting's going to go?
Well, we'll see. We want a constructive meeting. I just have to remind the American people, the president and Secretary Lutnick, we're your largest customer. There's no one that buys more products off the United States than we do. And guess what? Inflation's going to happen. A tariff on Canada is a tax on the American people. We're already seeing it with the aluminum and steel within cars. You're going to be paying a lot more for everything right across the board because you can't get aluminum anywhere else. You only produce 16% of your aluminum. We ship in over 60%. So anything that has aluminum, you're going to pay more. Anything that has steel, you're going to pay more. You're bringing over close to $10 billion of aluminum in, over $6 billion of steel in. This is hurting the American people. The markets are speaking. They're absolutely tumbling over $4.5 trillion. And there's only one reason, because they want to continue to put uncertainty out there. We see the inflation, we see investment stalls. I know I heard just internally a few investments, but the world is watching right now. And why attack your best neighbor, your treasured ally, that they're your number one customer? So this does not make sense. I mark my words, it will hurt the American people.
So just to prep the runway a little bit, Howard Lutnick said in an interview yesterday.
So JC is right. JC, if you could put JC back up there. I'm glad he said this on Fox News. You are right. You're right. Thank you, JC. Take JC's thing down. Now look at the Fox News thing. Trump, we don't need anything Canada has. Yeah, you do. He just told you 60% of your steel comes from Canada. You're only doing 16%. You need it. Everyone would love things to be made in America, but that's really not how the world works, because, as I said, certain areas, certain places have certain resources. Right? Remember back in the day, Alabama, Birmingham steel, like they had steel there. That's what they did. China makes cell phones cheaply. That, like, who's making them? That's a whole nother story. Excuse me. But if they were made here, we would not even be able to afford them. That's what he does not understand. He doesn't understand by putting tariffs on certain things, these things come across the border. A whole car is not just made in America. The parts come from all over. And when you put a tariff on them, every time they cross the border, that makes that car part higher or makes that car cost more. So maybe Howard Lutnick knows and just like, okay, let him get out there and say this dumb shit. And then I'm going to get here and work with this man because there's nothing. There is absolutely nothing that gives me confidence that Lutnick is doing that, but I hope that's what he's doing. I hope back in the day, during the first administration, Donald Trump would just get out there and he would say all of this dumb shit, and then behind the scenes, you had the generals who were, doing things, and you had John Kelly who's just like, okay, let him spout off. He's cuckoo. We're going to do the right thing. Just let him go out there and be like a petulant child. And we'll try to work it out. And then, but I mean, look, it was bad, but shit wasn't this bad. It was bad, but shit wasn't this bad. Because this time he's like, we don't need anything. And then next he's going to be like, hey, baby. Oh, you sent me flowers? Yeah, I sent you flowers. Can you come back home? Hey, boo. There are very few things made in America. Ethel, you're right. I mean, look, and why there are very few things made in America is because, look, it would be great if there was more manufacturing here, but also there are jobs that are higher paying jobs that Americans aspire to, and that we do certain things, and we are just built differently. And that's not, I'm not saying good or bad, but when you are in a developed nation, there are certain things like, jobs in the tech industry. Look at Silicon Valley. Like, those are the things that America's aspiring to do and doing a very good job at it. We have billionaires and possible trillionaires from those kinds of things. And that's where the world is going towards. Now, trying to figure out how that they could share the wealth, because they should. I actually think, how many planes do you need? How many chauffeurs do you need? How many cooks or homes do you need? After a certain point, there was a guy, I forget, is it The Good Liars, that said he was at that fake State of the Union, and he said I saw Musk in the thing and in the crowd, and I went over to shake his hand, and I said to him, and I thought this was a very good thing. I think he meant to be rude. He said, "You have a lot of money. You can help a lot of people. You should be helping a lot of people with that money." And I don't disagree. If I had like a ton of money like that, if people have tons of money, a billionaire on the verge of becoming a trillionaire, if Tesla bounces back, you could feed a lot of hungry people, educate a lot of people, put a lot of people, get rid of a lot of student debt, help American farmers, like a lot of things that one could do with that amount of money. The Bezoses of the world, the Musks of the world, all of those guys, they could do a lot of good. And I'm sure I'm sure that Jeff Bezos does some philanthropy, but could be a lot more. Y'all know what I'm saying, right? Do you disagree with me? I mean, look at Lorraine Powell Jobs. Like, I mean, just she's out there and she's giving it away. I love it. And I'm sure she's so happy. You don't hear anything from her. You just hear about her, folks like that being on boards and like, hey, can you come to a dinner? We're raising money for cancer. And you're like, yes, absolutely. Yeah, we can do that. Stand by, guys. This is real time. Let me see what the folks are talking about. Because you guys could put it in the private chat too, which I've just figured out that we could put it in the private chat. Right? If I missed something, I thought there was something that was breaking. So I guess not. Maybe that's old. That's coming across. Did you guys send me? You didn't send me breaking news, did you? Anyone?
Yes, I believe we just found out that Representative Raul Grijalva, a Democratic congressman out of Arizona. Yes, the 7th District of Arizona has passed away.
Oh, okay. I mean, it's sad, but I'm sure, I'm just being honest. Don't get mad. I'm sure most people have no idea who he is. Raul Grijalva died per statement from his office. Awful. And this is from Brian Metzger. Okay. Terrible. Due to complications from his cancer treatments. Oh my gosh. Awful. Well, we're thinking about him and his family. In the meantime, we're left here with all the chaos and the madness. We're left here with all the chaos and the madness. So rest in peace, Congressman and family. We are thinking about you. Okay, so the folks here, those of us who are left here are going to have to deal with this, are wondering, honestly, there are some people who are wondering where their next rent check is coming from. There are some people wondering where their next meal is coming from on helping people, praying for the family. Thank you, Sylvia Strong. But think about, some folks don't know where their next meal will come from. And there are people who have billions, if not trillions of dollars soon. Man, if I had that much money, what could I do with that much money? What would you do with that much money? What would you do first? Now, I don't mean like, oh, I'd go buy this. I mean, what would you do with it? Because I would do some really, really good stuff with it. And I don't like having money in politics, but I would take that money to do the right thing, and which is try to get all the money out of politics, use that influence to get the money out of politics. Then I would give some money to our farmers, give them back some of their land that they've been struggling with. I would go to the inner cities and build housing, affordable housing. I would go to the rural areas and do internet, build the internet and connectivity. Yeah. I would do some really, really good stuff. What would you do with it? End homelessness. Yeah, you would build some housing and do something for the homeless people, because remember, that is really about mental health. Pay the health care of everyone on Medicaid. Wow. Invest in my community. Absolutely. 150%. I would feed hungry children and donate to cancer research. Amen. And you know what I would do, honestly? I would boost up some independent media folks like you have never heard. I'd be like, you go out there and you say whatever you want, and let me give you some money so you can do some investigative reporting. You can get a staff together, and you can go out there and fight all of those people in the corporate who are trying to influence you. That's what I would do. I would hire an army of reporters and investigators to go out and do some real reporting in America to bring you the real news. I would call it RNN, Real News Network, and put it right on digital and social. It would be all digital and social facing. That's what I would do. Some young, hungry reporters. I'm telling you, that's what I would do. That is what I would do. By the way, to support us, hit the thumbs up, hit the like, make sure you subscribe. The reason that we are able to stay here in these streaming streets and to stay independent is because of your generosity. And I see that some folks who are gifting memberships, etc., who are joining. So thank you guys for that. I'm going to shout you out in a little bit. Yeah, okay, I'm a Real News Network right now, but if I had billions of dollars, you guys, you ain't seen nothing yet. Maybe I will. Maybe I'll aspire to that. We'll whip out my vision board, get on my knees, start praying, see what happens. Speaking of small businesses that are suffering right now, the unhinged person who is in the Oval Office is just telling people who are struggling already, especially small businesses, give us a chance, give us a chance. In the meantime, how many days of the market can go down 500 points here, 1,000 points there? Oh my gosh, how many days? But he's saying to small businesses, you're going to be winning so much that you're going to be tired of winning. You're going to have so much money, you'll just be able to roll around in it. Here he is.
Tariffs, you made clear you're not backing down from this, but many American small business owners say they are concerned that these tariffs are going to hurt them. What's your message to them?
They're going to be so much richer than they are right now. And we have many. Yesterday, General Motors was in. They want to invest $60 billion. The people from Facebook were in yesterday. They're going to invest $60 billion by the end of the year. Other people are talking about numbers. Apple, as you know,
Tim Apple,
a few days ago announced $500 billion investment. They're going to build their plants in the United States, which, as you know, almost all of their plants are in China. Now they're building in the United States. Can
we just pause right now?
Look,
how much time is he talking about? They're going to build this. They're saying they're going to build that. Do you know how long that takes? It'll probably take a decade. Am I wrong? That will probably take a decade. And so is that what he's saying? You're going to have to hold out for a little while. Do you think you have 10 years? Do you think you have a decade? You have 5, 8, 10 years to wait for somebody to build plants and do semiconductors and all that stuff? I'm just saying you can have that stuff working in the background without putting the American people under such harsh circumstances. You can do both. It's what you do. It is as important, if not more important, how you do something, right? Now than what you're doing or what the finish ends up being, how you do it, how you treat people. That is really important. When you're actually looking out, what is the best thing, how we can work this out for all people. On hold for 10 years, poof. That's what someone on TikTok says. So again, make sure you smash that screen, guys. Hit the thumbs up, please. It affects the algorithm. More people get to become aware of us. So here's the thing. So a bully. When I say Donald Trump is unhinged in the Oval Office and he's being a bully, he is still. Now, I think that there are people who say he wants to do this because he wants his legacy to be. Oh, sorry. Did we finish the soundbite? I'm sorry. How long is that going to take? Let's finish the soundbite and I'll talk about it.
The reason is two things. Number one, the election, November 5th. And the other thing is tariffs. I think probably in that order.
Okay. So some folks said, well, for his legacy, he wants this because he wants to acquire as much land as possible. I think he's just goosing folks because I don't think that Canada is going to go, okay, sure. Yeah, that's exactly what we'll do. We're ready to become the 51st state of the United States. And how insulting is that? How condescending is that? How bullyish is that? How just unhinged is it? Give me another adjective. What I mean, just what? The buffoonery that is going on. The hate I have for this man is palpable, says MJ. Wow. This is what he said about Canada, again, as his Commerce Secretary has invited the Premier of Ontario to the White House.
To be honest with you, Canada only works as a state. It doesn't. We don't need anything they have. As a state, it would be one of the great states anyway. This would be the most incredible country visually. If you look at a map, they drew an artificial line right through it between Canada and the U.S., just a straight artificial line. Somebody did it a long time ago, many, many decades ago, and makes no sense. It's so perfect as a great and cherished state. Keeping "O Canada," the national anthem. I love it. I think it's great. Keep it. But it'll be for the state, one of our greatest states. Maybe our greatest state.
Okay, so can we put Linda or Lydia? I didn't really see which one it was. Can we put that back up? Because it brings up an excellent point about Canada is British owned by the Crown of England. So, you know, and I don't know if you want to call it owned, but they'd have to go through the Brits in order to do that. It's not just the Canada thing. So that would be a disruption, a worldwide disruption. So I'm sure King Charles is sitting there and Prince, what's his name? William, they're sitting there going, what? Are y'all tired of winning yet? Canada's not playing. Canada knows that they have the support of Europe. Him saying they have nothing that we want, he knows it's bullshit. Or maybe he doesn't. Maybe he's just that ignorant. You guys think he's just that ignorant? Perhaps he is just that ignorant that he doesn't understand. When the guy says, we are your biggest customer. You need stuff from us. We don't need anything. Yeah, you do. If you want to see what happens to the construction industry, keep putting the tariffs on steel. You want to see what happens to the car industry, keep putting the tariffs. If you want to see what happens to the housing industry, let's just see what happens if you keep doing it. No, he won't tell you that because he's bluffing his way through it. Just keep going. And the only thing that he has is sort of the power of persuasion in the media and to the MAGA folks, right? Because he doesn't have the power of persuasion for Canadian officials. They're not buying it. You know, China's not going to buy it. They're like, I don't care. We're good. We are British owned. We are an independent country, part of the Commonwealth. Yes, that's what I was trying to explain, but they're going to have to. That's why I said they may not be owned. That's not quite right. So thank you, Corinna. I hope that if I didn't say that clearly enough, but the monarchy would have a huge say in this. And I'm sure they would fight back. They don't want it. They don't want it. Where was I? Oh, he's trying to pretend that, you know, we don't need anything. We do need things. Biggest customer. In the meantime, all of this, he has the power of persuasion that she's trying to persuade the MAGA people. The reason, so look, let me answer my own question for you. The reason that he's out there every single day is because he, one, has a big ego. He likes being in front of the cameras. He likes shaping the news cycle, right? And what he's doing is trying to get the American people on board and make them think, like get the American people on his side, because he knows every day, damn, this market, wow, what's wrong with this market? Can this market get good? Dang it. Market, come back. Got to invite the press in today and pretend something is positive. I got to invite the press in today, answer some questions, and hopefully I can fool some more people. That's really why he is doing this, is because he knows the narrative for him is terrible. And so he's trying to influence, sway public perception and opinion. But have you seen his approval rating? Polls ain't good. They're not good. So they're not good. And also the polling for Doge may be even worse. And that is dragging Donald Trump's approval ratings down. And he knows that. And not only that, the person he has in charge of Doge, and I'm saying in charge because he actually said it at the fake State of the Union that Elon Musk was in charge of Doge, and he is doing infomercials. Elon Musk's Tesla business suffering. I think, what did I say it was down today? Did I say it was down like 28%? Those are real numbers. And so he's out there trying to influence that. He's trying to also influence the markets, the stock markets, on Tesla's stock prices, Tesla's valuation, all of that. In the meantime, let's put this up, Andy. What has a judge done? A judge in California done? A judge has ordered Donald Trump, the Doge folks, thousands of fired federal workers must be rehired immediately, the judge rules. Must be rehired immediately. Now, I want you to hear what this judge said. Donald Trump's lawyers got their asses handed to them today in court. They got their asses handed to them. And when I say that, the judge almost said that I'm going to hand your asses to you. The judge called them a sham, said that they were liars, said that what they were coming to a legal thing with press releases. This judge wasn't playing. Here's a report from CBS. Watch this.
Breaking news, a federal judge has ordered the Trump administration to reinstate probationary workers let go in mass firings across multiple agencies. Let's bring in CBS News Department of Justice reporter Jake Rosen. Jake, tell us what happened here.
Well, that's right. There was a hearing today in a lawsuit filed by a bunch of union groups representing these government workers who have sued the Office of Personnel Management, which was the group of government, or the government agency, which led the charge on firing a lot of these probationary workers. And in the hearing today, it was expected that potentially the acting head of the OPM would show up and give testimony. That did not happen, and the hearing devolved after the government and the government attorney who was arguing basically did not have many answers. So the judge at the end of the hearing ruled that the firings were illegal, that OPM did not have the authority to do that, and that in the 6 agencies, which includes the Department of Defense, Department of Veterans Affairs, Department of Agriculture, Interior, Energy, and Treasury, are all ordered to be offered to be reinstated. Now, that offer is obviously complicated because a lot of these people have turned in their government devices. There are no offices for a lot of these people to go to, especially in the case of some of these groups who have had their offices shut down or who were told to not go to work. But we'll have to see exactly how this is implemented, but this impacts thousands of government employees across the government who are.
This is when I say there's chaos and madness. This did not have to happen this way. They could have had put people in place who understand the government and who people who can do oversight and investigation and who can sniff out and research fraud and waste, which there are a number of people. I sent to our producers this morning, there's this New York Times investigation, I think, guys, if you can find it, where they actually fired people who have actually uncovered billions and billions and billions and billions of dollars in fraud and waste, unlike what Doge is uncovering. What Doge is uncovering allegedly, what they're allegedly uncovering is minuscule, tiny, small compared to what these professionals whose job it was to find out this stuff, what they had found out. And instead of working with these folks, they got rid of them. So you heard the reporter there saying, these people are like, okay, you told us to turn in our stuff. You said get out. You said resign or whatever. And then now they're gone and you've ordered them to come back. The judge has. Imagine how much money, if they do comply with these judges' orders. If they don't, man, we're going to be up shit creek. There's a constitutional crisis. So now we're going to spend more money trying to reinstate people or finding people who know how to handle these jobs, people who really know how to root out fraud and waste. It's unbelievable. So let's go back to the full screen. Andy, if we can get that report, I would love to get the report to just read a little bit about it. If you can scroll through it, I'm not sure if you have it where we can scroll through it, but I want to play what's some of the things that the judge has said. So here we go. I just want to share some of what the judge has said. If you can scroll up on this. So this judge, let's see, pause right there, please. U.S. District Judge William Alsup described the mass firings as a sham strategy by the government's Central Human Resources Office, or Office of CPM, or sorry, Central Human Resources Office, to sidestep legal requirements for reducing the federal workforce. He's saying it is a sham. Keep going. So if you have a judge calling what you're arguing a sham, that is problematic. Stop. Pause. All of these folks, now these are a lot of people. Also, a San Francisco-based appointee by President Bill Clinton ordered the Defense, Treasury, Energy, Interior, Agriculture, and Veterans Affairs departments. That's a lot of folks. And there are other folks behind them, agencies that will have rulings like this. The Office of Personnel Management, Agriculture, Veterans Affairs departments to immediately, that is a quote from him, offer all fired probationary employees their jobs back. The Office of Personnel Management, the judge said, had made an unlawful decision to terminate them. I just want to go through and see. Some of what this judge said. Keep scrolling. This is a political report, right? Okay, pause. You will not. So you heard the reporter saying didn't bring the head of OPM there. He said, "You will not bring the people in here to be cross-examined. You're afraid to do so because you know cross-examination would reveal the truth," the judge said to a DOJ attorney during a hearing on Thursday. And then the judge goes on to say, quote, "I tend to doubt that you are telling me the truth. I'm tired of seeing you stonewall on trying to get at the truth." Alsup also said the administration attempted to circumvent federal laws on reducing the workforce by attributing the firings to performance when that was not in fact the case. The judge called the move a gimmick. When I tell you this is having your asses handed to you by a judge, this is having your asses handed to you by a judge. It is a sad, sad day when our government would fire some good people and say it was based on performance when they know good and well that is a lie, the judge said. That is having your asses handed to you by a judge in court. Now, the thing is, will they comply? We'll see. This is what the press secretary tweeted today, responding to the judge. Okay, from press sec. A single judge is attempting to unconstitutionally seize the power of hiring and firing from the executive branch. The president has the authority to exercise the power of the entire executive branch. Singular district court judges cannot abuse the power of the entire judiciary to thwart the president's agenda. And if a federal district court judge would like executive powers, they can try and run for president themselves. The Trump administration will immediately fight back against this absurd and unconstitutional order. These people are so fucking ignorant. It is embarrassing. How can anybody work for this administration? It is embarrassing. Would you want that on your resume? Nope. That's what I do in the first administration. A lot of people were resigning, like, ooh, I don't want this. Damn. And this is what the press secretary is saying. Didn't mention anything about the legislative branch, the Congress and the Senate are supposed to weigh in on this. The Congress holds the purse strings. They're supposed to run all of this stuff. It's supposed to go through committee and all of that stuff to make sure that that we're not doing something that we are going to regret, that we're not going to lay off people and then have to bring them back. And that's why it is done that way. That's why it is done that way. All of this is bringing, because he's completely ignoring the executive branch, right? All of this has people wondering, should the Democrats even go along with helping the Republicans do anything? You know, they passed that CR in the House, but no cloture in the Senate. So the government, our government, is once again on the verge of a shutdown. Senator Chris Murphy, who's doing a really good job explaining things to people about what they should do, whether they should even go along with the Democrats. Here he is.
I want
With
to
the
tell you why
Republicans,
I'm voting against the Republican funding bill when it comes up for a vote tomorrow. You deserve to know the stakes here. First of all, you get this, Trump has a plan and he's implementing it to destroy our economy and our government, to create a crisis that allows him to hand our government over to his billionaire friends and to suspend our democracy. I wish that weren't true, but it is. The question then is this: does the funding bill make it easier or harder for Trump to implement that plan? Now, I judge that it makes it easier, and so I can't support it. The basics here are this: Republicans are in charge, right? They need Democratic votes to pass a funding bill, but they never negotiated with Democrats. They didn't even try. They wrote their own partisan bill. They filled it with all sorts of right-wing shit. This isn't a continuing resolution. It doesn't just continue last year's funding, even though the press is reporting it that way. It makes big changes to law, and they're all changes designed to make it easier for Trump to implement that plan to destroy our country. For instance, it makes massive cuts to housing programs, to Social Security, to programs for healthcare for working families. That paves the way for Musk to advance his illegal assault on those government services.
Can you guys pause this, please? I got to say a couple things. Like, did Chris Murphy say shit? I was like, oh, yes, yes, yes. I'm here for it. And he's explaining, actually, you know, when people are saying to the Democrats, you need to become more modern, looser, whatever, you need to become more relatable, I think Chris Murphy is relatable. You know why? Because he is being authentic to who he is. He's got the tie off, right? But he is, you know, he's not in a swimsuit, or he's not trying to pretend like he's 18 or some 20-year-old guy going, you know, dude, that post we had just ate. We just ate that. No crumbs. Like, he's not doing that. He looks like a serious person, but also very approachable, very real, and knowledgeable. Like, he's not there. We don't need anything from the Republicans. They don't offer us nothing. We don't need them. It's so gross. It's like it's like regurgitating. He's like, yeah, we don't need anybody. We don't need Canada. Yeah. This is what it sounds like. I mean, Trump, not Murphy. Murphy sounds like an adult who knows what he's talking about. Know what I'm saying? And he's leaning into this. He's just going directly to the American people. More people, you guys, listen to me. Let me tell you, I'm going to tell you the truth. More people will see this post on social media, on digital media, on podcasts, on streaming, than will see an interview on cable news. This is more effective. It reaches more people than sitting there in an interview on cable news like for 3 minutes. I'm not lying. Now, what I paused it because you guys in the chat are saying, let the government shut down. Do you agree with that? Vote no. Do you guys want the government to shut down? Really? Do you guys want the government to shut down? Is that what you want? Yes, TikTok. Oh my gosh, so many people on TikTok saying yes. So many people in the chat saying yes. Really? Some are saying no, but most people, I mean, this would be, can we put up a poll? Because we don't have did you hit the thumbs up yet? Because we need to hit that. By the way, did you hit the thumbs up? Make sure you hit the thumbs up. Make sure you hit the thumbs up. You guys really want the Democrats to do nothing? You want the government to shut down? You don't want them to help Republicans at all? I'm done with Dems. If they, with this shit, shut this shit down, says Sherry Love. Cherry Love. Janet Davis says, yes, unfortunately, it is necessary. So you guys want the government to shut down. Rashawn says, yes, shut it down. Shut her down, huh? Crazy. Okay. Hey, look, I'm not going to fight you. That's your opinion. I think the Democrats need to stand strong. They need to stand with each other. I think they sold out Al Green, Congressman Al Green. Not the, I'm so in love with you, Al Green. By the way, that was Al Green before it was Tina Turner. But I think they need to stand together. That's just what I'm saying. I don't want the government to shut down, but I think Democrats need to be stronger and show them that they mean business. Because can you imagine if the government had to shut down, Donald Trump would lose his mind. We don't need nothing from the Democrats. Shut what down? What's left? It's effectively shut down already. Chloe, thank you very much. If I was with you, I'd buy you a beer at the bar. I'd say, send that young lady a drink. Right on, right on. Again, make sure you hit the thumbs up. It is really important. We have so much engagement today. I want as many people as possible to be able to see and hear what we're doing. You guys, is there anybody, producers, or anyone that can put a poll up? No? Bueller? Do I have to do everything around here?
Yes, I can, Don, but sorry, my computer's a little bit sluggish right now.
All right. So please, and then after that, make sure you put the thumbs up. That's important for us. Do you think the Democrats should, we can figure it out. Should the Democrats help or should the government shut down? Huh. Wow. I'm surprised that you guys would say that. Let's move on. I'll get back to the poll because I want to talk about some other things. Guys, I told you about, let's see what we talked about just to make sure that the madness, the stock market, the judge ordering the administration to reinstate, Donald Trump once again threatening Canada. We got that. And then the government on the brink of the shutdown. Now we need to talk Mahmoud Khalil. Because this story is getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And I don't think the folks understand. First of all, Mahmoud Khalil is suing Colombia. Oh, wait, before that, I'm sorry, Chris Murphy. Let's finish him out, and then we'll move on to that.
It gives Trump brand new spending powers. For instance, the ability to start new military programs that haven't even been authorized by Congress. At this moment of crisis, that sounds like a really dangerous idea. And it takes key guardrails off of presidential spending authority. That allows Trump and Musk to more easily move money from one account to the other. Now listen, Trump and Musk are going to keep acting illegally, no matter what this funding bill says. Whether we stop them, that's going to be up to the courts and up to our ability to mobilize people all over the country against their agenda, which is deeply, deeply unpopular. But by passing a bill that makes their plan easier to implement, Democrats risk putting a kind of bipartisan veneer of endorsement on their campaign to give our government to the billionaires and to destroy the rule of law. And I just won't be a part of that.
Okay. Thank you, Chris Murphy. Now, look, again, this is constructive criticism. You're doing a really great job. I would love for my social team to talk to your social team. My social team is great. I don't know if you guys realize that my social team is woo, like the dogs. My social team is great. I would suggest what I've learned from the kids, a little bit shorter. It's a little long, maybe some movement in there, and maybe you can break it up into 2 or 3 pieces, right? And maybe they're doing that, but good job. Do you guys understand what I'm saying, right? Because it is digestible. It can go on TikTok and it would get millions of hits. It'll go on YouTube Shorts or whatever, and that's going to get millions of hits. And then it'll go on Instagram and that'll get millions of hits. And then it'll go on Facebook and that'll get a lot. And so my social team rocks, right? Shay, Marion, My social team rocks. Amazing social team. I need to hire them. Nope. Because then they can't do work for me. Do not give them the big head, okay? But he's doing a great job, Chris Murphy. So, Chris, thank you. Come on the show. Call his office, folks. Send him an email. Tell him to come on the Don Lemon Show. Okay, along with Gavin Newsom. So I would just break it up a little bit. Great job. He's authentic. I'm glad you guys agree. Let's talk about Mahmoud Khalil. First of all, this is a New York Times headline. There's several developments as it relates to this story. You know about him, someone on a visa, student visa, also a permanent resident with a green card. He is suing Columbia University and lawmakers to keep activists' names secret. Mahmoud Khalil is among pro-Palestinian demonstrators targeted by the government, which has demanded records from the university. He joined 7 unnamed students in the case. Now, I'll just give you the overview. You can scroll up if you want, Andy, just real quickly. So the government, just scroll up a little bit. The government, I believe it's lawmakers.
Oh, this is just a full screen.
It's a full screen. Okay. So I'll just say lawmakers have asked, or at least demanded, that the university release disciplinary records on some of these students. And so they're having to sue to make sure the university doesn't do it. So the Mahmoud Khalil, the Columbia University graduate detained by the Trump administration last weekend, and 7 current students asked a federal court on Thursday to block the school from producing student disciplinary records to a House committee that demanded them last month. The committee's request and the school's compliance with it would violate the First Amendment rights of Mr. Khalil and the students and the university's obligation to protect student privacy, the lawsuit said. So that is one development in that case. They are suing to try to keep their records. The other development in that case is the protest, or protests. This is Trump Tower today in New York City. Watch. Okay, so there you go. So you recognize that those escalators, the gold escalators, that's where Donald Trump came down the escalator back in 2015 and said, I'm running for president. This is 2015, 2016, running for president. More of Khalil protests at Trump Tower. Watch this. Okay. And there's even more. Let's get, I think is there one more? Is that it? But I know there's the Fox News one. Is there one beyond this one? There we go. Now, I want you to be very clear. Look at what the backs of those shirts say. It says, Jews say, stop. What does it say? I forget what they said. Jews say, well, it's on the thing. But the important part is Jews say. And so I'm just going to play this, and I just wanted to point out the Jews say part, and I think you'll be able to see it more clearly in the other. This is from Fox News, and I may have to pause this, but I want you to take real note of what they're saying and how they are framing this, okay?
So you hear them chanting, free Mahmoud, free them all. I'm wondering, Ari, who are they all? And if the world is watching our nation right now, and they know us as you know, a bastion of free speech, so on and so forth, when you hate, when people feel under threat because of what you're saying, that's actually not protected speech.
That's okay. Right. Okay, stop, please. Okay. Pointing out the hate, right? The hate and the discrimination. Thank you very much, Coach G. You're right in the chat. That is Jews for Peace. That's Jewish Voices for Peace. These are Jewish people out there. Jewish people, Jewish activists saying Not in our nation. Not in our name, they're saying, meaning Jewish folks. Roll it a little bit more, please.
And look at some of the signage in here. I mean, they hate Israel. They hate Jewish Americans. They are anti.
They hate. Wait, back it up just a little bit, and so we're gonna. They hate Jewish Americans. Okay, look, fight Nazis, not students. They're saying. Jews say, do not comply. You can't deport a movement. They hate Jewish people. These are, come on, Fox News lady. Really? You don't know that? I mean, their producer's not saying, ma'am, hey, in your ear. These are Jewish people. These are Jewish activists. They are Jews. They don't hate Jews. Let's keep going. See, and because I want you to just see some of it. Just keep going. There's a sign to the right that I want you to see. Keep going.
Americans, they are anti-American.
I'll make 2 big points here. One, I'm going to start with the speech facade, the myth that this is about speech. What happened to Mahmoud Khalil had nothing to do with speech. It has everything to do with creating an encampment that is where Zionists are prohibited, where Jewish students are not allowed to walk on their own campus. These are crimes. These are deportable events. These are things that we would never tolerate. As for all these people who are now in Trump Tower, I hope that this administration will do what the Biden administration did to the January 6 people who walked inside the Capitol. They have the technology, get their faces.
Jews for Palestinian freedom. Okay. Keep going.
Match it up with the database, and if any of them are non-citizens, every one of them is trespassing. They all should be deported from this country, too.
Wow.
Wouldn't they be
I'm
trespassing?
Sorry, I interrupted that. Back up, please. You hear what he's saying? He's saying a database.
Any of them are non-citizens. Every one of them is trespassing. They have the technology, get their faces, match it up with the database, and if any of them are non-citizens, every one of them is trespassing. They all should be deported from this country, too.
But wouldn't they be trespassing anyway if they are causing people to fear? There are people who pay to live in that residence. There are businesses on that floor of the lobby. This is not a safe situation.
Pause. Opposing fascism is Jewish tradition. I don't think I even need to say anything. And this, Ari Fleischer, you kind of get it, but this young, I forget her name. Come on now. I forget her name, but she's just, she was the one that was sucking up to Donald Trump at the NABJ thing.
Harris Faulkner.
Yes. Yes. Thank you very much. Keep going.
If you are Jewish in that building, do you feel safe?
Stop.
Read those
They are Jewish. I mean, come on, y'all. Come on. If you were Jewish in that building, would you feel safe? Yeah. I might feel real safe because everybody there is Jewish. Come on, don't be stupid. Her producers let her down. Your producers failed you. But let me hear that again, please, Andy. Keep going.
For causing people to fear. There are people who pay to live in that residence. There are businesses on that floor of the lobby. This is not a safe situation. If you are Jewish in that building, do you feel safe?
Is that the end of that, or is there more? Is there
a little bit more? A little bit more.
And read those signs. Fight Nazis, not students. So does that make the rest of us in America Nazis? What are they even doing right now?
it might make some of us ignorant. Oh my gosh. The whole thing, though, honestly, about this database is pretty scary. Okay. I'm laughing at because I was just ignorant. And look, that was a bad moment on TV. We've all had them. But I mean, Harris, your producers failed you on that one. And you couldn't, maybe she could, sometimes the monitors on those cameras are small, that she couldn't read that there were Jewish people. Like, I'm sorry. I needed that laugh. Oh my gosh. I needed that laugh. Someone was like, oh, I saw when you said tap dancing, I thought you meant she was like, when I would say that, okay, now I'm getting it. Because the producer will tell you, okay, I need you to dance for a little bit, to do something or whatever, until I get my stuff together or whatever. There's breaking news, but that was meant as a pejorative. You so mean. That was funny as fuck, though. Jesus. The other thing, okay, hey Peter, can you come in? Let's talk about this. I didn't get, as we were watching this, I did not get the database, or Nikki, if you guys want to jump in, a database that they should take pictures and get people in a database, and then they should suffer the consequences of being deported because they are what? They are the First Amendment. They are exercising their First Amendment right of freedom of expression in this country. Those people are doing it. And even if you are, I believe, even if you are a citizen or you're a student and you came in, you should be able to do that because that's part of being a young person in college. I think that bothers me the most, even that she didn't even know that they were Jewish.
No, they're practicing basic civil disobedience, which is one of the most American traditions in American history. And sure, at a certain point, you know, the police may have to come in and remove them, and maybe they'll face petty criminal charges for trespassing or whatnot. But the idea that they should be jailed or should be perhaps deported for behavior like this is utterly absurd. I think specifically Harris and her guests were talking about, you know, creating a database in the spirit of what Jack Smith and federal prosecutors did in trying to identify folks who breached the Capitol on January 6th and were violent and spread blood and feces and just wanton violence throughout the People's House. And yes, we created, or rather, the feds created a database so they could track these folks down and ultimately hold them accountable for their actions. The notion that occupying Trump Tower for, say, 30 minutes with a chant is anywhere akin, is anywhere even within the same universe of actively trying to subvert democracy and install a dictator is utterly absurd to me.
There was someone in the chat who's like a troll that said, stop laughing like a little, you know what, prove that they're Jewish. You sound just as dumb as Harris Faulkner. I'm just saying they are called, they've been around forever. Jewish Voices for Peace. Now, you know, I have to go up to people and say, hey, when did you turn Jewish? Because I want to ask you about something else. I want to play this. Now, this is a discussion that I found amazing on last night. Let's see. What do I want to put the letter? By the way, I just want to put this up because this is a letter, because I think the last video is interesting. A letter from Jayapal and Raskin, Jamie Raskin and Jamil Jayapal, condemning Khalil's arrest. This is a draft that was Representatives Jayapal and Raskin and Scanlon are circulating the following letter about Mahmoud Khalil that was leaked to Ken Klippenstein. Among congressional colleagues, sources say draft unambiguously condemns the arrest, saying it is based on an obsolete Cold War era law. So the Democrats and others, and let's see if there are some Republicans who join them, are fighting, and apparently they're drafting them. But this was one of the more interesting conversations I saw on this, and I caught the reason I don't like running these sound bites, but it's because of the own that Mehdi Hassan did with Dan Crenshaw. Pardon me, on the Piers Morgan show. Here it is.
Big issue How is it false? I just read to you the actual U.S. code.
Like
this is
back it up to the beginning. Back up to the beginning. Pause it, and then back. Hold on. So the thing is that they're trying to say that he has ties to Hamas, and they are attributing quotes to him that are false, that are not his quotes. And the whole idea of this organization is for divestment, right? It's not for, at least that's what they say. It's not for Jewish hate, and it's not to support Hamas. Again, according to them. Okay, so this is what. So Dan Crenshaw gave a quote, a false quote about Khalil Muhammad, and then Mehdi checked him on it. Here we go.
Vague issue. How is it false? I just read to you the actual U.S. code.
Not true. I'll tell you.
Not true according to who?
I can tell you how it's false, because according to the White House, Dan, according to the White House went to the Free Press yesterday. You should check your facts before you come on and defend the White House. The White House went to the Free Press and said, we're not accusing him of breaking any laws. So Congressman Dan Crenshaw was coming on TV making wild accusations of law breaking based on a quote that's not from Mahmoud Khalil.
Well,
that doesn't say anything about terrorism.
It's just referencing the law.
They are, well, hold on. Hold on, you're wrong, Dan. First, accept that you're wrong. The White House said to the Free Press, Barry Weiss's right-wing Free Press, this week, we are not accusing him of breaking any laws. In fact, if you want to understand the laws, you need to look at the Immigration National Act of 1952. They're actually taking him into deportation proceedings under Section 237A4CI, which allows Marco Rubio, the Secretary of State, to personally deport a migrant because he believes that migrant's presence has serious potential adverse consequences for U.S. foreign policy. That is the obscure act, which, by the way, was designed for Eastern European Jews to get rid of them because they were deemed to be communists in the 1950s. That is what Rubio is using to get rid of a lawful permanent resident. Now, whether that's legal or not, Trump's late sister, Judge Marion Trump Barry, said it was a violation of the First Amendment. We'll see if the Supreme Court gets involved. But the idea that we should live in a country where Marco Rubio or Antony Blinken can remove a green card holder because he doesn't like his views and they're against U.S. foreign policy, some nebulous aim, that's outrageous. And there was a time when the Republican Party would have been against that.
Thank you for making the argument
stronger.
Today, you've added to my argument, and I appreciate that. So perhaps you should be defending.
So you guys don't even, it was just the entire thing. His comeback was weak. He had a false quote. It was a bad night for Dan Crenshaw. I'm just saying. And what Mehdi said there was 100% completely true. So we'll see. I mean, is this what America is about? And again, you don't have to believe or espouse his views, but I think one must believe in the First Amendment, and one must believe in due process. Even if these are people I don't agree with, I would not want them being hauled off. I would not. I'm sorry. And by saying, because he was in a crowd of people that they believe that those people were anti-Israel, anti-Jewish, and had ties to Hamas, and that they should be taken away. Even that, they're saying that he should be taken away because he was part of that crowd. He was in there. That is the same logic. Peter and I talked about this before, as every single person who showed up at the Capitol and who even did not go in, that they should be arrested too. See where I'm going here? That every single member, every single MAGA person who was at the Capitol on January 6th, every single one of them, even if you didn't go at the Capitol, if you showed up, that you should be arrested and that you had ties to the insurrection. So every single person who is out there protesting in favor of Palestine, they should all be arrested and taken away because, or they all have MAGA, they all have Hamas, ties to Hamas. Do you feel me? Real quick, remember, I'm going to get this on, then I have to go. Real quick, when I said that I had some breaking news yesterday, I don't know if you guys remember that right at the end of the thing. This was the breaking news. Roll it. It's from TMZ.
My niece Alex.
Okay. How do you feel about the Free Wendy movement?
Fabulous.
Fabulous.
So our recent events have been unbelievable. Talk about.
We came back from dinner, and apparently police were called. But I was told that at some point police were called because the coterie here was saying allegedly that I took my aunt from this facility and whisked her away without any sort of confirmation or approval, which
Okay.
avoids everything
Unbelievable.
that we have learned in terms of this whole situation, wondering exactly how that correlates with the statements that the Guardian has made, that Wendy is able to come and go as she pleases,
Right.
and that there are no family visits that are blocked.
Clearly, they are lying to me when they say I can go out and do what I want to do. This is my niece Alex. She just flew in from Miami, okay? I just came from the hospital. So we are going out to celebrate. You know what I'm saying? Celebrate what? I don't know. I'm
Just
from
life.
the hospital. You know what I'm saying? And of life. Right. And this is what has been done to us.
Okay, so listen, that's what happened yesterday. Someone sent me a text saying, "Hey, guess what? Wendy's out here. She's free. She's at the restaurant at Delmonico's." And I'm only saying it because it's been reported. And so I got a text saying that. And then I got a text from the niece saying, "I hear that the coterie or whatever, the place where Wendy is, they're in the process of filing a police report saying that I kidnapped my own aunt." So anyways, we'll see what happens with that. I don't know if they're going to back down, but Wendy is back where she was. I'm not sure. The niece, I think she's still here. And that is our update. Okay, so that's it. Wendy was out on the town. That's what I just wanted to. That was a breaking news yesterday, but I didn't do it. Okay, guys, look, please hit the like, please subscribe. Make sure you hit that thumbs up and follow us. All right. Now, I just want to tell you, if you are a member, right, the Lemon Heads and higher get to
Lemon
be
Heads and Lemon Legends. Yes.
Lemon Legends. We have a private stream where we're going to talk. We're really going to talk right after this. Okay. You're going to be redirected automatically. And everybody else, thank you for supporting us. We really appreciate it. And we're going to see you tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. The other folks, stay here, redirected, and we're going to have a private stream. See ya. Turn the TV off. Thanks, everyone, for watching. Your support means the world to us. So make sure you hit the like button and you subscribe to our channel to make sure that you never, ever miss a video. We're live every day, 10 a.m. Eastern Time. We drop even more content at 2 p.m. Eastern and 5 p.m. Eastern. And if you want more Don Lemon Show content, we'd love for you to become a member of the Lemon community, where you will receive access to special community posts. You'll get exclusive content and members-only live shows. So head over to our channel page or click the join button on this video. Again, thank you for watching. We appreciate your love and your support.